Unruly focuses on helping brands get their video assets watched, tracked, and shared across the internet. We've been around for about 8 years, and we focused on a particular area of video called social video. That's video where users opt in or opt out, and the category just continues to expand at a rapid rate. Just by looking at a single metric, when I first started just over a year ago, we had just over half of the Ad Age Top 100 as clients, and now we're closing in on 85% of the Ad Age Top 100 working with Unruly to help get their branded assets watched, tracked, and shared on the web. When we started, video was in its early days. YouTube was really the only game in town, and there was a lot of people watching video, but there wasn't really any type of index where you could kind of understand kind of what content is kind of maybe more engaging than others. I mean, you could look at a view counter, but that was just kind of the number that people were looking at. People can always buy views, make an investment and kind of game the system a little bit. What we were looking at was essentially looking at the view, but then going beyond the view in terms of people passing it around or sharing. And so, kind of from the early days, if you will, talk about viral marketing, but really what we're focused on is the videos that are actually shared from one person to another. And so what we've seen, it's kind of interesting. We're starting off a new year. We're here in Las Vegas, January, CES. I thought maybe a couple trends that people might find interesting. There's really 3 things that I think are going to be defining ones for this year. First is the video category is going to continue to grow, and that's a pretty easy prediction, but just to kind of put some numbers around it. So recent numbers that I just saw from ComScore, I guess they go through November where they kind of tallied things up. But essentially what we've seen is that video consumption now has grown 23% over the last 9 months from data that we pulled back from March. So we've seen kind of a substantial increase. That's over like 23 million people, and they're closing in on over 100 million people consuming video. So big growth in video consumption overall. Second thing we think that's really interesting is that 2015 is going to be the year that Facebook actually overtakes YouTube in terms of total video consumption. For a little bit of history here, so if you looked at the numbers last March, YouTube was about 24% of all video consumption, right? The rest of it is pick your online platform, but YouTube as a whole for video consumption was 24%. We refer to the rest as kind of the open web. Facebook at that time was about 9%. It's a pretty big number, right? Certainly meaningful number. If you look at the numbers for November that we just got the other day, what we've now seen is that Facebook has gone up to 18% of video consumption. So they've like more than doubled in 9 months, which is really a significant factor. Earlier in the year, they actually surpassed YouTube from a desktop perspective, but what we think is that it's going to overtake kind of all video viewing consumption. Facebook will become the dominant player. So what that means for folks is YouTube certainly needs to be a core strategy, Facebook needs to be a core strategy, and then you need to think about the 2/3 of the rest of the web, or as Unruly likes to call it, the open web, where video is being delivered, and it's sites like Condé Nast or USA Today and Yahoo, etc. So that's something we think is significant. Facebook will overtake YouTube this year, but the web kind of continues to expand. So as part of the getting videos watched, tracked, and shared, there's 3 things that we do. First and foremost, we do media distribution. We take video assets from our clients and we distribute those around the internet in order to help drive more sharing.
As units, or where does it distribute, or how do you do that?
It's distributed across virtually any platform. We're platform agnostic, so it could be desktop, it could be mobile, it could be tablets. With some of the partnerships, it could get into things like television. So there are wherever video is being delivered, wherever we can work with a video exchange, we can get our video assets distributed. So very clearly, first and foremost, we are a video distribution company, and we help get the videos out for people to watch them, number one. That's the watching part. Number 2 is people to watch them and then to share them or pass them on with someone else. So that's really at the core of what we do, which is the video distribution portion of the business. There are other things that we do. Since we've been doing this for so long, we've collected a lot of information. For example, we have the largest data set in the world on video sharing information. And we've been collecting this, it's now over 500 billion videos that we've observed the sharing behavior. So what that's allowed us to do is to actually understand the why someone might share a video, right? What are the drivers of virality, and how can you drive virality in a predictable, scalable way? And so we're taking the learnings and the insights we have from doing video distribution since 2006. And then what we're doing is we're actually able to test new assets that are coming out, or old ones if somebody wanted to test something old. But we're testing a video asset and seeing what the drivers are of that video, like how people feel. And then number two is why someone might share it. And we're able to package that up for our customers so they can then use those best practices to create more video assets that achieve the objectives that they want to achieve for their particular business. So at the core is the distribution. Then there's the analytics portion of it and the testing portion of it. Viewability, I'll tell you, if you were going to look at a third trend that was really, really on the forefront of marketing executives and and their agency executives, are these things being seen? We created a product called InFeed where video actually does play, but it's not until it's seen. We call it view play. And so once a video, as someone's scrolling through their news feed, once something is actually in view or seen, the standard for video viewing, according to the IAB, it has to be 50% in view for 2 seconds. We follow a 50% in view for 3 seconds because we want to go a little bit more than kind of what the standard is. But at least there's a threshold that's been set. And at that point, once that video starts playing and it's in view, then we consider that to be a chargeable event. So I think the industry, the big issue when ComScore came out, a couple of years ago, saying that over half of ads are actually not seen, and all the marketers said, "Wait, what have we been buying, for the last few years?" They retracted that statement, but bottom line was that not all ads are being seen. And I think what that set into motion were, and you broke, I heard about this actually from BTV, so thank you for this, but Ari Blumen coming out from Group M saying, hey, video viewability standard 100% is what we want. And I think it was a bold move, and I think a very important one. I told them that I actually applauded what they were doing, because essentially what Group M was saying is, on behalf of our clients, here's what we will accept, right? And while 100% is a pretty high threshold, Group M was doing what an agency should be doing, which is basically setting standards for their clients. Now, the IAB recently came out and said 70% is probably more realistic. The water we drink, the food that we eat, nothing's ever 100%. Even the FDA or the USDA will allow for a little bit of impurity. But I think the point being is that if marketers are going to be investing dollars, they want to make sure that stuff is seen. And that's why I think when they look at things like Facebook's autoplay, there certainly are some questions. Now, Facebook's a big, reputable company, and so they're going to obviously want to do things that are in the best interest of of themselves, of their marketers, and of brands. But I think bottom line is that marketers want to make sure that if they're investing in video to be seen, that it is seen.